In my recent adventure of conquering all the hardest achievements in every Resident Evil game, I had grown increasingly mentally unstable, but today's challenge may really be the one that pushes me over the edge. Why is there a plane falling out of the building? Oh! But it is! No! We were there!
Hey!
What? There is just one problem. The achievement for beating Resident Evil 6 on its hardest difficulty, No Hope, doesn't actually exist. However, it does have an achievement for beating the second hardest difficulty, Professional, which you can unlock by beating No Hope. So we'll be using that as our loophole as I establish the rules for this No Hope run. You see, on No Hope, every enemy is more aggressive, deals more damage, and takes more damage. Ammo is very limited, your health does not recover after death, and most importantly, skill points are completely disabled. So naturally, doing this alone was likely going to see me inducted into the closest Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, so once again I recruited the help of my boy Matt. Resident Evil 6 is split into 4 separate campaigns, all featuring iconic characters like Leon, Chris, Ada, and Jake. I'm sorry? Who the fuck is Jake? Thinking Jake's campaign was going to be the worst of the lot, what me and Matt didn't realise is that the next 5 chapters of gameplay would be some of the most fun we've ever had playing a game together. And it all started with Jake's introduction. Oh, what's up? What we got? I got a pistol. I got a pistol and hand to hand. Oh, I can charge up, look.
Yo!
Oh, bitch! Don't worry, I got you. Straight uppercut. Oh, you ready for this? Oh!
What are you doing?
Go on, suplex! Oh!
Suplex City, bitch!
I got this guy.
Oh. Hey, look at this, look.
What exactly am I looking at?
Get me up, fam.
Oh! Get me up! We weren't even 20 minutes in, and there was already more action than an interracial orgy with double backflips, explosions, helicopters, a Russian version of Nemesis, a Crash Bandicoot escape section, and the funniest piece of misogyny I have ever heard in a video game.
Quick time events.
Catch me, Sherry!
There's always something with women.
What?
The most unnecessary joke. What was the guy?
The next 10 minutes that follows isn't any less chaotic, as we have our first boss fight of the campaign with the Russian juicer Nemesis. This unit wasn't horny for stars, he was horny for men with buzz cuts. After a couple of deaths, I remembered I had a weapon literally called the Elephant Killer, and after 1 round straight to the face, we put him down for good. Well, not for good, he'd be back, but we can't worry about that as we go from one boss to another quicker than Bonnie Blue goes from one man to the next. For context, we were in Europe at the source of a new outbreak called the C virus. Sherry had been assigned special detail to extract Jake from the location, as his antibodies could have been used to develop a vaccine. Also here at the same time as us were Chris Redfield and his boy Piers, who we didn't have much time to chat to as your mum rudely interrupted us. Our first boss fight of No Hope, I really thought we were in for the shafting of the century. But no, it wasn't actually that hard at all. We literally just had to run around this place for about 10 minutes, jumping on the BOW's back and attempting to rip off this condom-like protection. Meanwhile, someone in Chris's team ran around the area, destroying all the anti-air guns so we could go on a 10-kill streak, call in an AC-130 and nuke this BOW. Saying goodbye to the lads, Jake calls them jarheads, which is a college bro slur, so Chris had to hold Piers back before he blew a casket, as we extracted away on a helicopter. Flying through the snowy mountains of Eastern Europe, Sherry's corporate away day was coming to a close. However, it was clear we had one big fan who wanted us to extend our office leave by a few days.
What?
What is happening? What is happening? Russian Nemi destroyed all our helicopters, forcing us to parachute into the mountains, but luckily Jake is trained in freefall. Ooh. That's unfortunate. Chapter 2 began with Sherry testing our pull-out game, and after some umming and ahhing, Jake did indeed pull out that massive piece of shrapnel in her back. With a massive gaping hole in her back, we'll have to act quickly to cauterize the wound. Oh, or apparently she's Wolverine. Okay. Refusing to elaborate on why her wound self-closed like the automatic doors in Sainsbury's, we proceeded to make our way through the snow in hopes of finding shelter. 10 minutes of aimlessly running around in the snow, we finally made it to a cabin. Able to feel our fingers again, the internal body temperature was still a worry, so Jake got a little closer to Sherry. It wasn't long though before the local neighbourhood watch was alerted to our positions. They didn't approve of two younger people moving into the area, so what followed was a COD Zombies-like battle to defend our new home. Becoming overwhelmed with the sheer amount of pensioners that smelled like piss and regret, it was clear we were going to have to quickly evict ourselves.
Oh my god.
Let's go, jet skis!
Jet skis!
Sorry, don't mind, sorry, I just got to take the lead, you know, the man's got to be in front.
A few moments later.
Whoa, I fell off! Cool, absolutely hitting
I've got
it.
some major air.
Yeah, what?
Oh, what?
How am I dying?
Holy, what in the fuck is happening?
What's going on? What's happening?
That was...
Oh,
God, that was some bullshit.
yeah, okay. Oh. God, move out of the way! Oh! Oh my god, I nearly got crushed, I'm good.
George.
Okay. Cozied up inside a mountain, the big Russian juicer had decided he still hadn't ruined our day quite enough yet. He was here to deliver deep mountain backshots that would echo through the entirety of Eastern Europe. First though, he had to actually find us. You see, the amount of steroids he had taken to become this large had actually had retina deteriorating effects. To make up for his lack of vision, the big man used movement detecting bees to alert him to our location. So the next few minutes consisted of me and Matt punching bees, sneaking around Russian Nemi, and hiding in bins if he ever came looking for us. I did however quickly find out what would happen if he ever caught us, you know, for educational purposes. Matthew!
It's open. B.
Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh dear.
Do you think you'll be alright?
So after completing the most random stealth section of all time and dying a few times, we escaped the mountain to find a door, and another door, and another door, and another door. One more door, until we find an abandoned JCB and get the bright idea to ram it straight into Russian Nemesis to end him once and for all. Back out into these penis-inverting temperatures. At least we were finally free of enemies. Never fucking mind, I guess we get assaulted by the mountain range infected crew. And of course, Russian Nemi is still alive. Ada's also here, because apparently we're having a party in the mountains and everyone's here to say hi, as we get carried away to finish the chapter. Chapter 3 was where things really flew off the hinges, as we begin with a room more white than your average clan meeting. Architectural Digest wanted to take a peek at our uniquely white apartment, but there was no time for tours, as Jake begins snapping goons' necks. Speaking of gooning, let's see what Matt was up to.
Holy shit. Nah, I might need a minute alone, George.
Are you good? Where are you?
Oh, lot. Jiggle physics. Jiggle physics. What do you mean? Come find me, George. You need to see the jiggle physics.
What a titty! I would like to say this is where the no hope difficulty really started to make itself known, as Matt, who had been my rock for this entire journey so far, began to crumble. A tactical wank to refocus later, Matt locked in, and after spending a little too long on a puzzle, we eventually met up. Unfortunately, now fully dressed, it was time to figure out where we actually were. I'll give you a few seconds to think of where you actually think Jake and Sherry were being held. If you said casino, you'd be right actually, yeah, it was. If you said there'd also be a tank in the lobby of the casino, you'd be right again. If you then proceeded to say that despite being in a casino in China, they were still able to access their favourite shows thanks to today's sponsor Surfshark, you'd also be correct. You see, Surfshark's an app and browser extension that encrypts your data and lets you change your IP address to pretty much anywhere in the world. So whether you've travelled unwillingly, like Jake and Sherry, or you're just on holiday, you can still access all of your favourite shows and not miss a game when your favourite team plays. Even if you're watching that stuff on public Wi-Fi, Surfshark's encryption between device and internet keeps your identity safe, so you can feel comfortable browsing using Wi-Fi anywhere. And because Surfshark wasn't satisfied with stopping there, they also now offer Surfshark Alert, which can monitor your email, ID, and credit card, so you'll be the first to know if any information has been leaked and posted online. Go to surfshark.com/Voy4, the link is in the description, or use code VOY4 at checkout to get 4 months extra of Surfshark VPN. And if you decide it's not for you, well, Surfshark also has you covered there, because they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you very much, Surfshark, for sponsoring this video. As it chased us outside, we were pinned down in a cute garden where not only did we have an entire tank trying to blow us up to next week, we also had countless of infected standing in our way. Not to mention others across on the balcony picking us off with little bits of damage. I had the easier job of baiting the tank over to my position so I could use it as a way of jumping over to the next building. Meanwhile, Matt just had to survive. A task that probably would have been easier if we both weren't on 1 bar of health with no heals. That's honestly the biggest difference I think No Hope makes. The enemies are definitely tanky, ammo is sparse, but healing items can be pretty much non-existent for long stretches of the game. Our task wasn't exactly hard, we literally just had to survive for a little bit. It was just proving extremely hard to actually do that. Oh my... Tank just reversed and straight up just run me over. The suffering made us felt like we were experiencing a wave of no hope that was making up for the first 2 chapters being relatively relaxing. What should have been a simple 2-minute segment had taken us 30 minutes. 30 minutes until I finally reached the motorbike to trigger a cutscene, but not before I could get distracted by a shiny suitcase. Okay. Oh my god, no, what am I doing? Oh my god! I think I was like right there as well. I went in a I was like right there next to the bike and I went in a suitcase for some reason. If I had simply resisted my magpie instincts, I could have saved us from this hell. Our suffering could have ended right there. Matt probably wanted to put my head in a wood chipper after this, and honestly, I would have helped him. Fortunately for our sanity, we were not here for 30 more minutes after this. It was just a few more minutes until once again I'd make it to the bike, where this time I left the suitcase alone. Triggering the cutscene, Sherry hops on the back where we take a quick dive out of there, ending this chapter and oh my god, I did it. I finally fucking did it. It took a Gooner outfit on Sherry for me to finally get less deaths than Matt, but it's not my fault he needed a tacky wank. Chapter 4 was underway, and it resumed with us still on the bike, speeding through the streets of China trying to outrun a helicopter. Chapter by chapter, the Jake and Cherry campaign was reaching new levels of ridiculousness, and this chapter was no exception. Honestly, I wouldn't believe some of the batshit insane things that happen if I didn't play it for myself. The controls during the bike segment actually really didn't feel that bad, and it wasn't actually that hard to ride the bike. It was just a little bit difficult to focus without getting, distracted. After weaving our way through the various streets and motorways, we eventually get to a moment that GTA had prepared us for all our lives, and a moment that wouldn't look out of place in a Fast and Furious movie. You're about to feel even safer, babe. We're just gonna jump a helicopter. Hey, look out, do you see how low the ramp was compared to that? Jake completely totals the bike, which probably would have ended in severe injuries for Sherry, but you know, she can self-heal. It's a shame though that she couldn't self-heal as an actual game mechanic, because as we made our way to the shopping district of this Chinese city, we were being sold a fist in the arse for the low price of absolutely nothing. Once again, due to not having enough healing items to even fight off the common cold, both me and Matt were one-shot to pretty much every enemy attack. The onslaught in the shopping district felt like it was coordinated by the Navy SEALs, as not only did they have numbers, mutations and guns, they also now had positioning. With snipers on the scaffolding, lizard fucks flanking us and a line of machine gun wielders at the end of the road, this defense was harder to penetrate than 0405 Chelsea. The only kind of resistance we'd managed to put up was using our snipers to take out the first lot that rushed us. Matt go up on the scaffolding and I continue to pick off any remaining customers. Being one sneeze away from death though meant that none of this was a guarantee. You know what, fuck this guy.
Yeah. I'm fucking done. Oh my god.
We were trapped in an eternal shopping nightmare, only we weren't the customers or the employees. We were the toys that no one wanted. With every barcode swiped, it saw our death counter rise until 10 visits to the gulag later, we got blessed with the God Run. Everything went in our favour. I used all my sniper ammo, all elephant killer ammo, but it was worth it. Freedom was ours. We may have been low on ammo, even lower on healing, but our spirits had never been higher. That was until Capcom dragged us right back down to earth with a boss fight immediately after this. Supplies would have been nice, but there was no time to complain. It was time to fight Chainsaw Man. Well, think Chainsaw Villager, only with negative 36% sex appeal. With luck finally being on our side, it just so happened that this guy's weakness was flash grenades and being kicked in the face. As it so happened, me and Matt had flash grenades coming out of our arse, so we proceeded to throw enough flash grenades to stunlock an epileptic for 3 weeks, and moves that would impress Mr. Miyagi to pretty swiftly dispatch of this lower aura Chainsaw Villager. Immediately after this, we come across none other than Leon and Helena, a reward from Capcom at last, seeing Leon's beautiful face grace our screens. Our joy wouldn't last long, however, as we were hit with something you could never see coming. Another boss fight. That's right, the Russian nemesis was so committed to getting Jake's number, he had flown to another country. You know, he didn't exactly fly economy either, because there's no chance that man is fitting in a regular plane seat. Russian nemesis was more determined than ever to stick that metal arm in me where the sun don't shine, but this boss was actually a walk in the park. All we had to do was knock down these flammable barrels scattered throughout the arena, admire Leon's aura.
Hey, shipper brain, over here!
Yes, Leon. One-liners. Shoot the barrels and repeat the process until the big man fell. So I kept him busy running around the arena while Matt took Leon somewhere secret to find something that could finally defeat Russian Nemi.
I'm coming.
Okay. Oh yeah? Oh yeah, a Mad Max bus. After definitively proving why women should never get behind the wheel, we quickly wrapped up this fight after an electrical tower came crumbling down on the big man's head. I would say that was the last we'll see of him, but we both know I'd be lying. At last, Capcom gave us a break, a safe haven of ammo and our old buddy Herb, who I hadn't seen in about 3 chapters. With all these resources, it was clear we were being prepared for something big, something huge even. As we walked outside, we realised exactly what that was. A boat ride. You know what they say. Nothing clears the head like getting out onto the water and then immediately getting bummed by the same boss we'd already fought before this. Negative Riz Chainsaw Man was back again, only this time he'd brought his friends. Having used all of our stun grenades on the first fight, we couldn't once again put him in a perpetual state of retina searing, so me and Matt tried to spread the aggro. One of us would take the Chainsaw Man, the other would take the infected. However, it turned out spreading this aggro was a little like spreading the butter that quotes spreadable on the package. The holes in my bread beg to differ, you fucking liars. Pain was all we were feeling right now, as the ruthlessness of this chapter began to take its toll. Back to back boss fights wasn't just making us want to put our heads through the nearest cinder block, it was also draining our stamina. Eventually, after 7 holes in our bread, we dispatch this B-Tech Chainsaw Man and head back to our peaceful boat trip. Peaceful though, it wouldn't remain for long, as this guy simply refuses to die. Honestly, his presence was just making me uncomfortable at this point. It felt like I was trying to take a leak in the urinals and he'd chosen to stand right next to me when there was 10 others completely free. So after pretty much undoing all of that ammo restocking by filling this guy with more lead than a pencil muncher in the back of the classroom, we caught a stroke of luck as the building site health and safety standards in China had fallen below par. With our assholes now unpuckered, we could, for fuck's sake, I'm seriously done with this. I don't even have any more commentary for this. Even I'm bored. Think of how the viewer's feeling right now. My retention is probably plummeting through the floor. Can someone just help me, please? Oh. Thanks, Ada Love. We couldn't yet escape Chapter 4 though, without one more turn of events, as we bust in to find Leon and Helena, along with a man named Simmons. We learned that the president was dead. This Simmons guy was behind the virus outbreak because of politics, I guess. And Leon, most importantly, had run out of hairspray. Leon and Helena said they'll take care of Simmons and the hairspray shortage whilst we run into a door and get separated. Great plan, Leon. With that, the most exhausting chapter yet was over. Would you believe that all that happened in a little over an hour? Chapter 5 was underway and I woke up in a steaming mood because I live in a shithole called the Chinese Underwater Facility. We were ass to arse with Sherry. Arse to mouse would have been preferable, but I'll take what I can get. All Matt had to do was shoot the lock on this door, but it took us 10 minutes and a YouTube video to figure that out. Clearly our brains were still recovering from that mess that was Chapter 4. After escaping, we meet up with Chris and Piers, who have been sent down here on a mission to get Jake out alive. Chris, revealing the truth about who Jake really is, tells Sherry that he is the son of Albert Wesker. Jake, being Wesker's son, had his beef with Chris, the man who murdered his father, but that would have to wait, as for now there was only vegetarian options on the menu. And the vegetarian option we were being served was deep-fried, battered dog shit. All we had to do was catch an open-top elevator up to the top floor of this place, but of course, while we were ascending, we were being descended on by a bargain bucket worth of enemies. Not only did these small platforms quickly become more congested than the tube during rush hour, but the small space also made it very hard to maneuver around certain workplace hazards. Honestly, the most triggering part of this whole thing wasn't having to fight to the top, it was having to watch this cutscene every single time. Why have we got to watch this again?
Oh, fuck off.
I wouldn't actually mind if the checkpoint started when we were on the elevator, but like, why have we got to sit here and look at this?
Oh.
Right! Get it!
Oh my god. the beeping.
Stop!
Beep, 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 beep.
After being spoon-fed this bad dogshit for way too long, we eventually had the idea of hopping on the same elevator, and what do you know? It worked on the second attempt. Honestly, these challenges aren't actually that hard, it's mostly just my lack of any brain activity that makes them hard. With Chris and Piers taking out the giant poo spawn, Jake and Sherry needed to get out of here to save the world. Standing between us and safety though was an arena of lava and Russian nemesis. Feeling like I should be telling Russian Nemi that it was said you would destroy the evil residents, not join them. We cracked on with the final boss of the campaign. He had a new arm upgrade, all designed with the intent of reaching deep into my rectum and to keep things totally 100. That's exactly what he was doing. Prolonged fisting surrounded by lava wasn't on my bingo card for the final boss, but that's exactly what me and Matt were experiencing. Sniping him.
Jesus!
Why did it make that noise? Honestly, the comical bonk definitely eased the blow of death. The first couple of times. With every death, the noise was becoming more and more muted as the need to people's elbow my Xbox became stronger and stronger. The benefits of the tan this lava was giving us was definitely outweighed by the hole in my arse becoming larger with every death. Both knowing we needed to lock in, the comms went silent. Matt applied some anti-inflammatory cream to my bum, and we cracked on. More dodge rolls than your average Souls boss later, we came out the other side with one more stage left. My hand-to-hand fight with Russian Nemi. Any other man would have seen this task as impossible, but Jake was the son of Albert Wesker, trained by Mr. Miyagi, more hours in an MMA cage than Anderson Silva. The GOAT was here to finish it. Oh, hey again! Hey again!
Oh,
yeah!
let's
yeah!
go!
Yeah!
Oh my God,
oh
babe.
wait, what? That one's a loady one? What is happening? What?
Hey!
What?
I'm serious.
The goat needed some time to warm up.
We good?
Yeah! I think we're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Superman!
Oh my god!
God, mate!
Sent you into
Oh my god! There's no way!
Holy! With Russian Nemi behind us at last, all we needed to do now was catch a ride out of here. You cannot be serious. Are they actually taking the piss? Like Anakin climbing that hill, hotter than your toaster, Russian Nemi was still with us. It wasn't a fight though. Like my first gay experience, this was all done so I could finish this together with my best friend. Together!
Together! Oh!
Yeah, the shit ends now! What? Oh wait, I thought he was going to do it in the cutscene! The last B job!
We did it. Together.
That was beautiful.
Oh.
God, the game had us do that together.
Hey?
He's done. He's stiffening up.
Beautiful.
As we flew out of here, our hands interlocked, Jake leaking, we knew we had a chance now at saving the world. With Jake's campaign being more surprising than your uncle at the family barbecue, we were on to campaign number 2, and we were once again given free will. But after beating Resident Evil 5 last year, it really only felt like there was one place we could go next. Chris.
Oh, do we get a Sheva?
Sheva? No, there's no Sheva.
Oh.
It's Chris and Piers.
Oh.
Who the fuck is Piers, mate?
Piers?
Who the fuck is that guy?
I used to know a Piers in my school. He liked Land Rovers.
Our story begins with Chris taking a mental health day off work at a bar in Eastern Europe, continuing his search for a new strain of steroid. As if being in Eastern Europe wasn't bad enough, he's also sitting next to an American at the bar who is trying to make small talk about the steak. Being a vegetarian, Chris walks away to fight some bald Russian man, but right before he can slam his vodka bottle into his face, the American comes over to stop the violence. The tension between the two is palpable. I am waiting for them to lock lips, but that was before the steak enjoyer name drops Chris Redfield. His name was Piers. He'd been searching for Chris for 6 months because he was needed in the fight against bioterrorism. As everyone in the bar rises, Chris takes a huge step in his character progression. He abandons his search for steroids in favour of confronting his trauma head-on. A day later, we arrived in China. We were here to stop the outbreak of the new C virus. As we got our first taste of the Michelin star 4-course meal of post-gym bathwater we'd be consuming for the next 40 hours or so, I was grateful I had Matt helping me, as it meant I didn't have to rely on Capcom's award-winning AI. What cover are you possibly taking there? Genuinely, what is that offering you? This C virus was complex. The infected were more advanced than any other strain we had seen before. They could shoot guns with the accuracy of your average American. They could wield machetes like your average Londoner. And they could fly helicopters just like Kobe's pilot.
Ooh, obviously it explodes.
Now more experienced players than we were during our Resident Evil 5 playthrough, we knew that in these opening chapters there was one rule we had to abide by. Fisting the infected. That's right, ammo was of the utmost importance, so while the game was now at its easiest point, using Chris's 34-inch bicep to send the infected into another dimension was the best strategy we had. It was the only strategy we had, but it was the best. However, during his time spent in Russia, Chris had clearly visited Dagestan to sharpen up on his moves.
That guy just had to like...
Oh!
Fucking hell! Go on!
Much like any virus, this C strain also had its mutations. In a local restaurant, our first look at a mutation comes to life as this young man grows a whole new arm. That undercooked sea bass wouldn't be the only thing flopping around in his kitchen, as it delivered our first death. My next life, we decided it was time to start using the guns provided, as why else were they here? But very quickly, we came to regret this decision. It's not looking good, bro. I have 4 ammo already. My health was falling apart quicker than an arranged marriage, so this meant I was going to have to be conservative, not in my politics, but with my healing tic-tacs. Eventually, we made it to a rooftop section where we had to hold out until Bravo team made it to our location. The only problem was we had no health, no healing items, and Bravo team was taking longer to get here than that friend who says they're helping on in 5 minutes, but we all know that means 2 hours. It's me. I am the friend. Naturally, the deaths began racking up quickly for both me and Matt as the endless onslaught of enemies began. Unlike other Resident Evil games, 6 didn't seem to notice when you were low on certain items and give you said item like health or ammo. We were getting skill points in every single box. Skill points that we couldn't even spend on no hope difficulty. Capcom basically just said go fuck yourself. As I was thinking this rooftop may see us receiving backshots for the next 3 to 5 working days, things got even worse as my girlfriend gave me a call. Asking what I wanted from Tesco, I request some ginger nut biscuits, a milkshake, and a paracetamol for the splitting headache this rooftop was giving me. Not seeing the timer on my screen, I let it expire, not realizing what I had just done. We load back in, thinking we'd be at our checkpoint on the roof, but no. We loaded in at a checkpoint about 20 minutes before the roof holdout. Capcom was literally bending over, exposing its bare arse at us and getting us to take a deep, deep whiff of its rectum. Back at the rooftop holdout, we still had no heals and 1 bar of health, meaning we were more fragile than one-ply loo roll. But forget loo roll, these enemies were wiping our asses with 40 grit sandpaper as they continually discontinued our premium subscription to the land of the living. About 40 minutes after first making it to the roof, Bravo team finally arrived, and like my Uber Eats driver, they had eaten all the chips. Naturally, we believed this might be the end of the chapter, but as we came to learn with Resident Evil 6, there is a surprise waiting around every corner. Moving straight into the fresh produce section, we were surrounded by enough ingredients in here to make a bolognese, but it would be missing one vital component: the herbs. With no herbs, the bolognese was missing the final touches, and it was once again an intense 1 HP battle for the Backshot boys. Get no rest in this game.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
What is the AI doing? Just run through him.
Still fast
Come on, guys, help.
Where's the lamb
Oh,
sauce?
damn. Oh, no.
Where's the lamb sauce?
fuck off you fat useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite.
Come here, you muppets!
Fuck off.
Donkey! Clear!
Clear, there we go. After yet another long and strenuous fight, our instructions were to evacuate the building as bombs had been set to level the place. Chapter 2 begins with a flashback to 6 months ago in Eastern Europe to find the root cause of Chris's PTSD. Here we meet a young man named Finn who says what we're all thinking.
Is he always this awesome?
Oh my god.
He's starstruck, mate. He's starstruck by Chris Redfield.
I can't believe that's Chris.
Naturally, being the star of the chapter, I thought the pace may slow, but I was incorrect as less than 5 minutes into chapter 2, your mum arrived.
What's going on over there?
What is that? We've been in this chapter for 2 minutes, mate.
That's our next 4 hours of fun, that is, George.
What am I supposed to do with 8 bullets?
He's throwing a car at us!
What am I
I don't know where I can go.
Yeah, genuinely, what do we do here? What do we do here? What do we do here?
He's slamming the middle. Ha!
He's got me! Fortunately, we weren't asked to dispatch of your mother. Well, not yet anyway. We simply had to distract them until Bravo team's arrival with the tank placed us firmly in the cuck chair as we watched on from a distance. Progressing to catch up with the BOW, we get to a section where we have to cover Finn as he plants an explosive. Protecting friendly AI in a video game was up there with follow missions in top 10 ways to speedrun depression. But 12 years of gaming together meant me and Matt had unmatched synergy. I took the front lines, suplexing infected like The Undertaker, while Matt sat back sniffing his toes, providing covering fire and taking out any stragglers. No less than 30 seconds after Finn detonates that bomb, we find ourselves at a bridge where Bravo team had left an injured man stranded. The choice was carry on chasing the BOW who could destroy the entire city, or risk everything for this one man.
They've got a man down on the bridge.
Leave him!
Take on the bridge!
Yeah.
As it turns out, my instincts were correct because for the next 20 minutes, this bridge would have us by the balls. Starting things off, I quickly gave Matt a boost over to the sniper tower. Smells like brotherhood. And so began the chokehold. Somewhere I'd like to be if it was Lady Dimitrescu, but it wasn't. It was a bridge in Resident Evil 6. The trouble came from a multitude of problems, the first being my inability to crawl. What? What do you mean? The second being Matt's lack of ammo in the sniper tower.
No.
The third being the infected's use of CSGO-like nade lineups. I just got grenade. Who threw a grenade at me? And the fourth being that this C-virus had come pre-installed with the tank license patch for all participants. Swap shoulders. I got to hit a headshot. Oh my fucking god. During this first round of enemy fisting, I had learned a valuable strategy that would see me progress up the bridge. Those on the turrets were much like reverse pigs. Rather than not being able to look up, they couldn't look down. So if I crawled like a paraplegic with no wheelchair, I could eat up about half the bridge without taking any damage. For the second half, however, this strategy would not work. Oh yeah, I just got my face stamped in. Jesus Christ. With these bionic leg enemies now giving themselves a deep tissue foot massage using my face, I could no longer crawl my way across the bridge. And with no crawling, I was left just viewing the death screen over and over and over again. After I'd passed away about 5 times and unfortunately been reincarnated as Chris Redfield in every single lifetime, Matt came up with a plan that would save our precious arse cheeks.
Maybe just wait at the beginning, or can you not wait?
An idea we should have thought of about 20 minutes ago, as it worked first time. Now on top of the bridge, our goat Finn extracted the downed soldier, while we held off the SAS trained paratrooper infected that were descending on our location. With another tank down and another man saved, we move forward to the city, where... Oh my good lord. So we had to join forces with Sherry and a fella named Jake to take down this BOW. I was expecting this part of the campaign to be challenging, and while yes, I did die a few times, the hard work here actually came from the length. It was nearly an hour of gameplay, as we had to guide our goat Finn to plant 3 different explosives to take out all anti-air guns. Luckily, this big boy didn't pose much of a threat, as he honestly walked around the place like he'd just shat his BOW underpants. The real threat to our progress here was the abundance of infected sitting on turrets, sitting on rooftops with snipers, and just generally being fucking pains in the arse. My god, no, reloading timing was so bad! Ah! So, after an hour of the infected having free will of Chris's tight little cheeks, Finn finally planted our third and final bomb. I jumped on the BOW's back, ripped his condom off, and let our bombs raw dog him. Finally safe, at least for now. We pushed on to City Hall. Yes, somehow this is still the same chapter. City Hall looked like ground zero for the C-Virus, or the average children's park in the UK with all these needles. In here, we didn't find the source of the virus, but we did find the direct source of Leon's greatest gooning sessions, Ada Wong. She guides us through all these new mutations of the C-Virus like the Boulder Boy and this annoying lizard fuck. Eventually, she also guides us to a trap where she cuts us off from the rest of her squad. Leaving us with a little goodbye present, she throws a bomb containing the C-Virus into the rest of our squad, leaving our goat Finn to go crispy. A rookie had died on Chris's watch, and he wanted nothing more than to avenge Finn by taking out Ada Wong. Chapter 3 saw us back in China trying to stop the virus from going global. I was also trying to stop the rumour of me being dog shit at the game from going global, so my objective for the rest of Chris's campaign was to drag Matt's deaths down to my embarrassing levels. The start of the chapter though wouldn't let me do that just yet, as we began things protecting Sherry and Jake. This was our first time seeing a new mutation, and after the lizard mutation, the spider mutation, they brought out the scariest of them all, the ostrich mutation. So after stripping the infected of their pilot's license by stripping their license to the living world, I made my way to a Kowloon-inspired claustrophobic apartment block. However, these apartments had a massive pest problem. Literally. Massive. It was a giant camo-cloaking snake that was slowly eating all of our squad. However, this BBS, Big Black Snake, did allow me to set traps for Matt to catch up on me in the deaths department. You see, by strategically letting him go first through these tight little vents, I could let any aggro from the BBS hit him first.
Ah!
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh, she's got me!
Setting up for failure was only going to work in my favour if I didn't deliver public toilet levels of gameplay during this fight with the BBS, something which I did not manage to do. Eventually though, we did manage to confine this BBS to a Zone 1 electrical hazard. After consulting the local council, I got permission to redirect all the building's voltage straight into that fleshy meat. So with the pest problem now solved, we roll out with our one remaining squad member. However, he wouldn't be with us for long, as Ada was also in China. She shot him with the C-Virus, which once again made him crispy. So, with Ada now confirmed to be in China, Chris changed his mission to being about finding her so he could avenge Finn. Piers, more concerned about the mission of stopping the C-Virus, confronts Chris, which results in a hold me back bro fight. There was tension here, and it was most certainly sexual. Not knowing if he wanted to fight Piers or kiss him on the lips, Chris makes a call to get a location on Ada Wong. Apparently, chasing Ada consisted of playing Boat Frogger while being chased by an Apache helicopter. Matt?
I don't know what happened.
Coupled with Piers swimming like that kid whose armbands I punctured at the local pool, we also had to deal with taking down an Apache helicopter. Not just any helicopter though. A helicopter with the most bullshit hitbox I have ever seen.
He's down.
I'm down. I'm dead. What? It was shooting you! Okay, and then it just... What? And suddenly I'm dead.
Oh, they're alive still.
Wow, I'm getting wallbanged, man! What is happening? Like, what is happening? I'm going out.
At me. Ow.
It's down.
Nice.
Jesus fucking Christ, mate. Why was that like the hardest bit of the game? With the helicopter now more down than my cousin's syndrome, we pressed on to find Ada, but in typical Ada fashion, she had an assortment of tricks up her sleeve. This included things like laser traps. Oh, big.
The beast!
And explosive Roombas. Eventually, we finally managed to corner Ada. However, there was another person here risking life and limb to protect her. After a fight with more cuts than a Taken movie, Chris realizes it's Leon. I honestly don't know how he couldn't smell that it was Leon 5 miles away due to the absolute stench of hairspray coming off that fringe. During our heated exchange, Ada manages to get away after Pierce misses an entire mag of his AR. I'm really starting to question if this guy is actually a professionally trained soldier or just some guy the BSAA founded on a local college football team. This would all culminate with a car chase scene with Ada, where rather than me explaining what happens, I'll just let the footage speak for itself.
God, am I driving?
I think you are.
No, George.
I'm the best driver the PSA's got.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Don't say that. Not while I'm driving.
He's killed about 18 people. Let's go.
This way, surely.
Oh, what?
He could have made that.
Go on, jump it, Chris.
Grab your gun. I'm taking the wheel.
Yeah, hang on. The
Okay.
alpha male's got to take it. Here we go. I'm don't worry, I'm just punching the glass through. Hang on, guys, I need to see a bit better. Ooh.
Fucking hell, Chris. He died?
Whoa!
She's right there! Fucking hell!
Jesus.
Oh, damn! Fucking keep going, we're ahead of her.
We're gonna get there before her, boy.
It's a race now, it's pink slips. What the fuck?
Chapter 4 was underway as we continued our pursuit of Ada. I was no longer trying to sabotage Matt. We were now working together like our first time pegging. Some call it gay, we call it friendship. And friendship is exactly what we'd need to open this door in a hangar as Ada had shut it behind her. Rather than, I don't know, trying to use the handle, we decided to redirect a missile straight into the lock in order to bust it open. Now making our way through this boat hangar, for some reason we were now fighting Black Manta, and nearly every single one of them was equipped with a gun, or worse, a fighter jet. Being pinned down for a solid 15 minutes thanks to continuous backshots from this jet made me wish for an end to this life we call life. Making it through, we found an elevator where... What is it about elevators that activates this man's IBS like a Russian sleeper agent? Now on the top floor of the boat, we get our first glimpse of Ada. Hang on a minute. Who brings a change of clothes to a zombie outbreak? Wait, that means her used socks are around her somewhere. To put some distance between herself and us, Ada quickly applies the 200 IQ tactic of getting Chris to attempt how to work out a door. After being bamboozled by the door for a solid 5 minutes, we make our way to the roof where we corner Ada, who must have already spilt her dinner down her new threads as she's changed back into her old gear. Weird.
But no one can stop it. Now.
What the fuck? No way!
I would have never have called that.
Different strain.
No way!
I would have never
I
have
thought
called
someone
that.
was going to fly by and pick her up, or like a boat, or it was water.
Alpha leader.
I did. With Ada now being flatter than my admittedly ironing board figure, we step back into the lift that still smells like Chris's arsehole. Before Ada iced herself, her final act of devious hot woman activities was setting off a missile straight for the city that contained the C virus. We only had a few minutes to stop it before the entire city was doomed, so we hopped into the nearest plane. This jet section actually had me and Matt feeling like the food critic from Ratatouille as we were taken back to barrel rolling in Battlefield 3, one of the first games we ever played together. Nostalgia would have to wait though, as time was of the utmost importance. I drop off Matt onto the ship with the same feeling parents get dropping their kids off in North Korea. He had 3 minutes to defuse the missile while I defended him from the Black Mantas and another one of those big boys. Luckily this was pretty easy and not too flex, but I popped an achievement for taking no damage in the aircraft, so I was basically the faker of Resident Evil. Unfortunately, Piers, having the IQ of a lamb, simply redirected the missile into another boat that set off a second missile to hit the city. The C virus had been unleashed on every innocent civilian in the city. Chris and Piers had failed. An entire city had died because of them. Admittedly, that was probably about 0.02 of China's population, but still. All we could do now was inform Leon of Ada's death, and watch as his penis went from solid too flaccid. Receiving intel from Leon that Jake was Wesker's son and the key to stopping the C-virus thanks to his antibodies, our mission had now changed to saving him and Sherry. For some reason, they were deep-sea diving in the middle of the Chinese Ocean, so it was down we went to stop their aquatic getaway. So far, the previous chapters had their moments of difficulty spikes, but had failed to live up to the name No Hope. Chapter 5, however, was about to spit on our tight little arse cracks and remind us exactly who was in charge. From the off, these infected were applying a prime Jurgen Klopp gegenpress, going man for man and creating an overload in every position of the submarine to ensure that we used every single heal early on. The early trap had been set and was executed perfectly by the Black Mantas. Our ammo was depleted, we had no healing items, and we now had a 2-minute holdout section to contend with. Now, 2 minutes may be a short time for some, but my girlfriend says if it's all I can manage, then that's good enough. Also, 2 minutes while you have to contend with Black Manta and his mates Chris Kyle and Dwayne The Rock Johnson is likely the longest 2 minutes you will ever experience. Multiple death screens were getting laid down as there really felt like there was no strategy here. We were living on thoughts and prayers. The overwhelming numbers were constantly getting the better of us, and it didn't seem to matter how many of them we killed. There was always more. It also really didn't help that the only time we managed to last 2 minutes, this happened. Come on.
Oh,
Open.
is it right?
No! I just come out of the cutscene and I'm getting killed! What do you mean? What can I do?
Nah, come on, man.
I think it's safe to say that I would rather sit gooch first into a fresh bowl of hot ramen than ever attempt to play this part of the game again after that one. Nearly 30 minutes later, we finally lasted the adequate amount of time needed to open the doors where on the other side we'd meet up with Sherry and Drake. Drake? To inform them of our— oh, for fuck's sake, not again. The elevator ride from Detroit had returned, but would you believe it if I told you? We did it. First try. Well, you'd be fucking stupid if you did believe it. Experience here did not matter, as despite already doing this, it was still just as hard because, surprise, surprise, our healthcare situation was looking awfully American. Once again, the part that was driving us nuts wasn't the multiple resets or boatload of enemies attacking us, it was having to listen to this noise over and over again. I would honestly rather hold a 2-minute conversation with a French person than ever hear that alarm again. Suffering at the hands of this post-shower wet fart for what felt like an eternity but was really about 15 minutes. We made it through without dying. As we thought, that might be it, but as they say, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and I can't see your mum singing anywhere. That's when a giant BOW bursts right in front of our eyes, but Chris, being a man who cares about the mission, and a man who probably doesn't want to go to prison for helping the virus break out into the whole city, tells Jake and Sherry to get out of here. We've got this. And got this. We did not. Nice.
Oh my god.
Gotta drop the one-liners even when you're in a life-threatening situation. Massive fucking mutated monster's about to kill you. That is one angry son of a bitch. If you're in this situation in real life though, wouldn't there be like a party? It'd be like, wow, it's pretty fucking cool to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, look at it, you know.
I was living.
Matthew! Matthew!
I'm sorry. Oh! Your bumhole is so tight right
Yeah, my bumhole's wet. Let's go. Oh. No! We went there!
Nah, that's some bullshit. It knocked down the thing behind us and that counted.
Escaping the BOW, it turns out we didn't escape it at all, as a boss fight ensues, but it couldn't have come at a worse time. Due to the 2 minutes from hell and the arsehole sniffing on the elevator, me and Matt had seen a resource recession, one that had left me with no heals, and nothing but 24 gas rounds in my grenade launcher. I don't even know if gas rounds hurt this boss, but one thing was for sure. This room was about to see more gas than Poland in the 1940s. Of course though, we died. A couple of times. Our light, however, was not dimmed. In fact, it shone brighter than ever, as over these last few months of doing Resident Evil challenges, I had built up some sort of bullshit tolerance, and I now had a few tricks of my own up my sleeve. So after using up all of my gas rounds and literal scraps of ammo I had left, I was left with absolutely nothing. This is where most would have given up, but my superpower is that I am on the spectrum. I got nothing left now. I have to go in there with a knife.
If we stay right here, it can't hit us. Let's stay underneath it.
I'm just gonna just gonna have to knife it. Finish it with a knife. There's only one way to end this. Oh! Oh! Something's happening. No way! Let's go!
Limp dick and knife to finish it off.
crowned at last as the kings, as our victory was here. But wait a minute, your mum still isn't singing. The BOW was still alive and well, chasing us down as we made our way through the underwater tunnel system, finding ourselves trapped in a room with the persistent BOW that was heading straight for Chris until Piers did this. Oh, Piers! Piers!
Nah!
Piers! No!
Not like this.
No! Not the
Nice
Chad! The Alpha. No, it's Dad's Mercedes! Piers! He's supposed to take over from Chris. I'm supposed to retire. Oh!
Oh my god. Got you.
Piers.
What's it's gonna do?
Oh my, what a beast!
Piers.
With Piers' wank arm now gone, what was really left for him to live for? He injects himself with the virus to mutate and grow a new electric-wielding arm. He holds back the BOW, buzzing all of its nerve endings by shooting thousands of volts for its entire body. And wait, I'm no electrician, but surely this would also be electrocuting us because we're in the same ankle-deep water. Don't worry about it. With Piers' electric arm being enough to hold down the BOW while Chris finished it off, we were finally free from this boss. No man left behind was the motto for the entire campaign, so we made our escape with Piers, despite his, honestly, disgusting looking arm. Knowing he didn't have long left to live before the virus took over his whole body, Piers pushes Chris into the escape pod, staying on the submarine to sacrifice himself. From high school football, his dad's Mercedes, and a few harassment cases swept under the rug, to sacrificing himself to save another man. This was real character growth. The BOW being more persistent than Indian men commenting under girls' pictures on Facebook, it was back and ready for round 38. But with one final blow though, Piers blew up the entire underwater facility, including the BOW and himself. Finally, in Chapter 5, I had an equal amount of deaths compared to Matt. I may not have beaten him, in fact I lost by quite a considerable margin, but I did regain a little bit of dignity. Halfway there with 2 campaigns left, my expectations so far had been exceeded, but I didn't want any more if, buts or maybes. I needed an absolute. I needed a banker. I needed the one that could not fail. I needed my Leon. Baby Boy's campaign begins with the assassination of the president, who was infected, so he had no choice but to put him down. In the process, he saved a woman named Helena. She tells us we've got to head for a local crypt in the Cathedral because that may hold the answers to this entire infection. I've heard a woman inviting you back to her place, but inviting you to the bottom of a crypt in a zombie outbreak. Shit, maybe about to get kinky. Before any crypt though, we first had to help this stray man who'd lost his daughter somewhere in the building. After about 10 minutes of walking around this place, we eventually find his daughter Liz, and she was not looking good, bruv. She makes it to the elevator before flatlining, and me and Matt show our sympathies to a man who'd just lost his daughter. Leon, having never seen another man cry before, solves his emotions by getting Helena to shoot her in the head. Now unleashed onto the college campus, it was time to start dishing out sweet chin musics. They thought they were getting spring break. Turns out it was really just zombie outbreak. Sorry, I'll see myself out. It was also no surprise that due to being on a college campus, we were finding a healthy source of herbs and ammo. The absolute starvation that was the last 2 campaigns made this shower of resources feel like upgrading from wiping with a Nokia brick phone to a bidet. It was a pretty relaxing time, until Leon flipped the getaway car while driving at about 15 miles per hour. Descending down into the sewer because the situation as above had forced us so below, where once again we were greeted by more infected. Oh yeah? Whoa! Oh my god! Whoa!
Jesus!
These infected were still causing us next to no issue though. Our biggest problem down here was actually the rail system that was still up and running. What side?
I fucking hope it's not this side.
It's not. Oh.
What? Okay, I'm just going to be on the left.
Yeah, just stay on the left. The train was definitely on the right. Yep,
No, it's in
train's
the
on
middle.
the right.
And I kind of went like here. Like that.
Oh. Well, don't do it again! What do you... Progressing through the rest of the subway, we met up with Big Sue, who mistook this sign for Subway as the sandwich shop. She may not have got the footlong she wanted, but there would be some feasting going on down here. It was just the feasting was on her flesh. Quickly jumping the gates without even paying for a ticket, emerging out into the local town centre, it was clear things had gone to shit as chaos ensued.
What the fuck, mate?
After finding a group of survivors and getting crushed like a smash burger by an ambulance, we made our way inside the bar to take cover by the overwhelming number of infected that were populating the streets. Being in America, this bar doubled as a gun shop, so we were sorted for ammunition as we... Ammunition? I've played too much GTA, fuck me. So we were sorted for ammunition as we held out on the bottom floor. Moving upstairs, we had someone repairing the shutters, while once again we held out from the onslaught of infected. Finally, in the back room, we thought we were home safe until the entire building began to shake. The vibrations flowing through us from tip to toe as the anxiety was setting in. Was it an earthquake? Was the building about to collapse? Had the infected found a way in? No, it was Christine from the local Chippy. Service had been shut down for the night at the Chippy, so she was here looking for her next fill of greasy battered meat as she set her sight on our bum cheeks. See, it's Jova. I'm just getting eaten, mate. I've got no choice. It's just eating me like I'm a Big Mac. Her insatiable hunger was presenting us with more game over screens in 5 minutes than we'd seen in the last hour. For the first time, we were running low on ammo as we tried to take her down, but the grease running through her veins was acting as heavy armor because nothing we did was causing any damage. And to take things from bad to worse, I once again made the error of not clicking continue on the death screen by the time the 30 seconds had run down, resetting us back to the menu. We loaded back in to outside the bar. Feeling like this campaign had been a slow, sensual peeling of an orange to a sudden carpet bombing, it was safe to say that the whiplash of this pace change was taking its toll.
We beat this. Let me get coffee, look at that, reward.
This reset of brain-damaging proportions also reset something inside my head though, as we finished off everyone downstairs and got back to our fight with Christine. This time around, much like how she eats her Big Macs, it was a one bang. With a couple of C4 strapped to her toes, this was a quick and easy routine for a manicure as we stepped outside to find that her sister Sheila was also here. Once again though, using our explosive C4 manicure strategy, Sheila didn't manage to get so much of a whiff of us before being taken down. Quickly loading everyone into the school bus, we had gone from Nakler-on-Toten to transit. This average school trip for an American student was eating through every piece of ammo I'd been stockpiling through the campaign. With one final goodbye to Sheila or Christine as we fed them a final meal of tire rubber, we were finally out of here. After an hour and 30 minutes and 14 deaths, I needed a coffee to lock back in. Onto the second chapter, we're having a swell time gliding through the streets as rain pitter-patters off the windows until we pitter-patter off the side of the cliff face and the bus implodes. It was good meeting you all. Same time next week, yeah? We ended up in the graveyard next to the cathedral, and honestly, this isn't the worst the taxi driver has messed up my drop-off location. Where the fuck am I? Arriving at the cathedral doors, we were denied entry by none other than symbiote Peter Parker.
Hello? I know someone's in there. Open up!
Are you crazy? Those things will kill us!
To gain entry, we had to claim the souls, not of the Sinister Six, but of all the infected attacking the cathedral. Being welcomed into the committee, we tell them we're not rescue workers, we're here to just fuck around with some puzzles. Sorry guys. We head down to the basement where we do some rolling around despite not doing any stretching and shoot the bell towers, which will probably attract even more affected to these people's location. Opening up the crypt, there was always only going to be one thing that happened. I just wasn't expecting what emerged there to be so beautiful. Beautiful she would not remain though, as we discovered she is more tanky than any other enemy we'd faced yet. The C4 and the toes tactic we dispatched earlier with the chippy girls was no longer yielding positive results. Bullets were hopeless. Her gas was hitting harder than an IBS sufferer in a curry house as we were being served as a Georgian mat vindaloo special with a side of pilau rice. Eventually overcoming this now weird metaphor of Indian food, we moved down to the crypt. We come across a tape named Happy Birthday Ada, which Leon pops straight into the VHS player, hoping to see tits, but his hopes are quickly confirmed. You see, this is the Ada that died earlier, not the real Ada. So Simmons was creating clones, testing on real people to see what the virus was actually capable of. Pushing on through the crypt that somehow just keeps going. Resident Evil really knows how to push the limits of what's architecturally possible. At the bottom of the crypt we find Helena's sister Deborah, the whole reason she wanted to come here. Not only to expose Simmons, but to save her sister. So with Deborah slung over her back, Helena was no longer able to defend herself. It left me with all the work of clearing these mummy-like infected, where death inevitably come. However, death in this situation wasn't all bad. Damn!
What a view. What a view. Jesus.
That view wasn't the only thing making me go stiff though, as Deborah herself stiffens up and cocoons into a shell. Being reborn, it's not too late for an abortion as a crossbow bolt nails her in the forehead. It is revealed to be Ada Wong. Leon's dream was still alive, but there was no time to goon as Deborah had just woke back up and... Lord have mercy. Maybe there is some time to goon. Participating in possibly the hottest and slimiest boss fight I'd ever done, we slowly put an end to Deborah with your standard Resident Evil shoot the big orange glowing bits that are either eyes or tentacles. Helena tries her best to hold on to her sister before she slips from her grasp as the Krispy Kreme glaze she had all over her body was too much. Chapter 3 saw us take this survival horror adventure and turn it into an Indiana Jones movie as we attempted to excavate ourselves. I say this as our enemies went from those infected with the C virus to freshly woken mummies who looked like they've just come off a 2-week bender. The obstacles in our way became entrant puzzles that looked fresh out of an Uncharted game. Because of all these old puzzles, this chapter just consisted a lot of cranking it with my boy. We cranked it in the dungeons, we cranked it in the mines, we cranked it in the bottomless pit at the centre of the earth. And as we're not Chris Redfield, there was no boulder punching, but there was boulder pushing. I mean, this chapter was basically just an overstimulation of random parts of different games merged into one single hour of gameplay. After all that, we finally emerged, probably now on the other side of the world as we did sort of fall through the middle of the earth. With our phone signal back and 5G up and running, Hunnigan gives us a call to let us know that she got word of where Simmons is headed.
He's on his way to the airport right now where his private jet is preparing to leave for China.
China?
Yeah.
China. Like he's never heard of it. China.
Opening chapter 4, we arrive in this place that Leon had never heard of before in the best way possible, by landing our plane in the middle of the city and killing 10,000 people on the way in. Our first task after destroying the city's entire infrastructure was to meet up with Jake and Sherry and fight the Russian nemesis again. I really thought I'd seen the last of this man, but here I am, repeating a boss fight, giving him the beans once again. Seeing the back of Russian Nemi for what I pray really is the last time, I felt like we were playing a best bits chapter, as we were now following Ada and we were back in her devious trap room, which we had already seen in Chris's campaign. And no less than 2 minutes later, we also saw the cutscene that we got in Chris's campaign. With those guys now off on a car chase, we finally got some new gameplay that we hadn't seen before as we burst in to get the same cutscene from Jake's campaign where we run into Simmons. Finally though, a differential, a palate cleanser that felt like fresh fucking food at last, a Simmons boss fight. He had the most severe case of leprosy this side of the River Nile that transformed him into a horse, centaur? Microwave? I'm not really sure what we were fighting, but honestly, when are you in Resident Evil? Whatever form he was in, it didn't really matter, as me and Matt began laying into him on the train. He may have mutated his body, but it was his brain he wanted to mutate, as he couldn't seem to figure out the concept of being spit roasted, as we took up a position on either side of Simmons. Eventually, after some persistence, Simmons is taken back to his human form, mutating one last time before Helena puts one between his eyes, and the train destroys his chances of having an open casket funeral. With Simmons dead, we were ready to save the city, until Piers had the bright idea of redirecting that virus-filled missile straight into the city. With the final chapter of Leon's campaign beginning, at least we wouldn't be repeating anything we'd already played. Wait a minute. Am I going insane, or is this literally the prologue? I was playing this on Easter Sunday, too, of all days. Jesus did not resurrect for this. I was gonna get some Easter egg.
The pilot in a helicopter, you can't be having an Easter egg.
Hang on a minute. I'm gonna break it on my desk.
Fucking hell.
Unlike the prologue though, there would be no edging here. We finally got our answer to who was back for more. It was Simmons, obviously, because no one actually dies in this game. Ada was also here for backup. Real Ada, not that fraud who hit the 1080 off the boat. This time, however, Simmons had come with a new form. He was no longer a mythical creature. He had decided to go for something a lot more realistic. Something which roamed the earth. A feared predator. The T-Rex. Luckily for us though, we had red barrels in the arena, which canonically is known in the Resident Evil verse as T-Rex's only weakness. So fighting this walking advertisement of why you should never stick your penis in a glory hole, there wasn't much of a challenge. Especially when we got backup from... Default Man. I don't know who ordered this World War III Uber, but I would be rating them 5-star. Ooh. With With our Uber driver catching a quick suntan, we were back to fighting on foot, but with the help of Ada's chopper, we're able to take down Simmons. Leon, willing to do whatever it takes to get a whiff of Ada's used cereal bowl, follows her up to the rooftop. Our path though was interrupted by Simmons, and it's a coincidence I was recording this on Easter Sunday because this guy loves a resurrection. He absolutely chins Ada, and Leon, willing to do whatever it takes to protect Ada, puts his body in harm's way as he takes multiple back shots just before she wakes up. Now I can fight side by side with my best girl as Matt stands in the elevator to watch us. With the close-quarter nature of this fight, it meant I wouldn't be getting out of here without having some of his hepatitis ooze all over me. However, with the bountiful supply of herbs and ammo though, we do manage to pretty swiftly dispatch of Simmons. Ada, not being the type to cuddle after or wait for the morning taxi, gets going before I can even put the condom in the bin. She was kind enough though to leave us a parting gift that, fortunately, was not a child. It was her helicopter. Standing between us and the helicopter was a bunch of infected— oh, for fuck's sake. He's taking this resurrection stuff too far at this point. It's a good thing Capcom has a fetish for putting massive glowing eyeballs on every single boss, so this one was actually easy enough to finish off. With one last sniper shot, Simmons goes flying off the top of the building, losing his giant bug form, where on the ground, he goes to the most intense chiropractor session of all time. Simmons is dead, however the city is still under threat, but I guess that's just no one's problem because we just sort of walk off into the sunset. Over 20 hours of Resident Evil 6 later, we were nearing the end as we came to the final campaign of this no-hope run with Ada and Default Soldier Man. Wait a minute, this whole campaign that's been built on co-op with every other campaign having two protagonists. The last one just has Ada. Well, at least this campaign has the best start of them all.
Okay, now.
We begin with Ada infiltrating a submarine to find out some information on her clone and what exactly Simmons was up to. On this stealth mission, Ada seemed pretty quick to forget what stealth actually means as she bursts in here slamming black mantas. Matt was here for backup, but honestly he was more of a figment of Ada's imagination as he couldn't even do simple things like open doors. I felt like I was participating in Umbrella's annual Take Your Kid to Work Day. Only my son had severe learning difficulties. Okay, give it an A, Jobby.
I can't, mate.
Can you not?
Nah, can you?
There we go.
Yes, yeah, I couldn't do it. I had to wait.
You literally can't do anything. That's hilarious.
I had to wait for my mommy.
This first chapter didn't really have too much going on as it just consisted of us killing black mantas, running away from things that exploded, swimming, and answering a Q&A session over the intercom. So as the submarine imploded, Chapter 2 saw us wash up into the same graveyard we visited earlier as Leon. Here we have to descend into the crypt and spend a little too long figuring out some puzzles. As in, like this genuinely took us about 10 minutes. Immediately after we meet up with Leon and Helena to repeat the same boss fight from their campaign against Helena's significantly hotter sister. It was exactly the same fight, so I had all the moves rehearsed to absolute perfection as I finished this boss fight without getting hit. Reunited with my son, we attempt to make it out of these mines, but some ghosts from our not-so-Christmas past came back to haunt us. Find a key, alright. You think the amount of situations they get themselves into, they'd eventually learn to lockpick. Oh yeah! Our strategy for defeating these ghosts was by taking advantage of the shoddy electrician job that was done down here. Nice. Let's go, Matt. Oh.
Electrocuted. Oh.
After this is when Ada comes across the pretty disturbing tape of her own clone being born. Surprisingly, Leon hadn't pocketed this for his wank later. The twin wanted to destroy the world, Ada wanted to save it. The race was on, and luckily for Ada, I always come first. In Chapter 3, we would be visiting China in an attempt to stop evil Ada.
Look at that.
Yeah? It's a panda.
Why you ride the panda like that?
Oh yeah, why does a panda look at you while you're riding it? Damn, that's crazy.
You gotta do a mission area with a panda.
As this campaign was basically a reunion tour, it would have been a missed opportunity not to say hi to some old friends from China.
Oh, no.
Save me.
I don't think I can. Yeah, you got me.
With the key needed to advance to the next stage, and Chainsaw Man holding this key in one of his many intestines, we were looking to perform surgery on him to remove this blockage from his digestive system. Unfortunately though, he was an aggressive breed of Chainsaw Man and we couldn't even get close to him. I had left my roofies at home, so sedating him was not on the cards, which left us with only one choice. Fight fire with fire. only our fire was not very hot, as we got repeatedly sent back to the lobby. The Resident Evil 6 fatigue was really starting to set in this point, as the death screen began to sear into my retinas. We did manage to take down Chainsaw Man after receiving multiple lashings, and despite a late scare... There we go. Stay alive. Don't get killed by a crawler! We made it onto the bus, where... You cannot be serious. Ada quickly receiving complete spinal reconstructive surgery from our chainsaw friend. It was at this moment I knew we were in for the long haul. The comedic relief of this death animation would quickly wear after the 10th time we'd seen it. Going through all these stages of grief, that sadness quickly turned into rage as my desk was on the receiving end of some abuse. Feeling my brain contort as I was edging myself closer to a psychotic episode from fighting these same bosses over and over again, we actually managed to save ourselves by wrapping up this one pretty quickly. And by wrapping it up, I mean we'd literally just passed it on to Jake and Sherry for their turn on the town's bicycle. Chapter 4, we were on that boat with Chris and Piers as we continued our search for evil Ada. Chris was ripping cheeks on the elevator and I was being ripped apart by these face suckers. Honestly, is there any need for this death animation to be this long? The facesuckers weren't the only threat on board though, as Chris Redfield may have been ripping stinkers, but he was also looking to rip Ada's head off. Ooh.
I don't know. Ooh, alright.
Okay, I think that was meant to happen. Yo, what's up, Chris?
Yeah,
oh, never mind. Chris catches us and blasts us in the head. His stinky ass cheeks wasn't the only gift he'd left for us though on the boat, as the previously thought dead clone of Ada Wong wasn't actually dead. Who could have seen that one coming? She awakens, turning into some sort of semen monster that grows in the walls of the boat. Fully encompassing the entire area around us, Ada's face was now covering our path, which would initiate a boss fight that would have us trapped for the next 20 minutes. 20 minutes that we lost because both of us were severely lacking any kind of brain power. In an instance that can only be explained as Resident Evil 6 induced psychotic brain crippling, both me and Matt fought this boss, wondering when she was actually gonna die. We unloaded all our ammo, defeated all her minions, destroyed her eyes multiple times, but we were making zero progress. Multiple deaths due once again to a lack of herbs, multiple tears running down my face, until we realised, once she takes a little bit of damage, a hole opens up in her face and you just shoot an explosive bolt through. It literally took 2 minutes once we realised this. With this last boss fight being a massive red flag to my doctor that I should probably go for a brain scan at some point, we were on to the final chapter of the game, which began with us piloting a helicopter. We were offering support to Leon and Helena in their fight against Simmons, raining down fire on his T-Rex form while Matt just sits there and watches. He's a good boy, isn't he? Leaving our helicopter on the roof for Leon and Helena to fly off into the sunset, we make our way down to fight Simmons. It was the exact same fight we had already done as Leon. It was a little bit difficult, we did die a couple of times, but my baby boy was there to revive me every single time. By baby boy, I of course meant Leon, not Matt. He was in the elevator just watching. I guess the cuck elevator, you could call it. So after about 15 minutes of fighting, we book Simmons in for his chiropractor appointment, defeating him for the very last time. We take a quick visit to his office, destroying everything to make sure he could never clone a person again. And we put an end to this virus. Well, the virus is still loose in China, but as we saw in the last campaign, I don't think anyone really cares, to be honest. 30 hours of Resident Evil 6 later, we had finally finished No Hope difficulty. And we got Leave It to the Pro for completing it on Professional. But we did it on No Hope where there's no achievement. What is this? Oh, is that Jake? Oh, here he is. It is Jake. Unreal. Here we go. He's got his pistol. He took a bite of the apple. Fair is fair, kid. And then the game ends. I wanted to keep this as short as possible. And believe it or not, despite being the longest video on my channel, this was about as short as I could possibly make this video. Thank you for going on this journey with me. This was a long one, this was a big grind, this was a massive project to work on, and I hope it was worth it. If you'd like to see more of my content, you can click on the video popping up on your screen now. I love you all, and I'll see you very soon.